The movie poster has been around since the beginning of Hollywood and has quickly become one of the most well-known things by audiences. However, with the changes in technology that have occurred over the past 100 years, these film posters have really developed in their unique look and style, and the techniques that have been used on these posters have changed dramatically. In this documentary, I'll be looking at the changes in the history of sci-fi film posters from the 1920s up until the modern times. In 1796, German playwright Johann Senefelder invented lithography as a cheaper way of publishing his plays. This technique was the first planographic printing process and the first radically new method of printing since Gutenberg's invention of printing by movable type. To achieve this process, Senefelder experimented with a new etching technique using a greasy acid-resistant ink as a resist on a smooth 5-grain slab of limestone. Gradually, this technique was brought into a workable form as he was able to perfect both the chemical processes and the special form of printing press required from using these stones. This process would then go on to become very popular in the 19th century, and many movie posters before the 1960s were made with this process. Some examples include the Scarface Mob, Grizzly's Millions, and the Isle of Destiny. However, this industry took a massive blow during the First World War, as the quarry in Bavaria, where the stones were cut, was bombed. This meant that some stone lithographers turned to using zinc plates, but today, stone lithography is a largely lost art. From conducting some research, I've been able to find out that there has been a few sci-fi posters that have been created using the process of lithography, but these posters were mainly produced around the 1920s to the 1930s. This list includes Metropolis, Frankenstein, and Dracula. These were some of the last sci-fi posters to be printed using this technique, so producers of film posters would need to find an alternative way to making these. This is a small list of some of the standout designers. Bill Gold was an American graphic designer that was best known for his film poster designs. During his 70-year career, he worked with some of Hollywood's greatest filmmakers, including Clint Eastwood, Stanley Kubrick, and Ridley Scott. Some of his most well-known sci-fi posters were for films such as Barbarella, The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Space Cowboys. John Alvin was the man behind some of Hollywood's most famous sci-fi film posters and some of Walt Disney Studios' most prolific film posters. Some of his most well-known sci-fi film posters were for films such as E.T., Blade Runner, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and the 30th anniversary posters for the Star Wars franchise. Perhaps one of his most well-known posters is the one for E.T. In this poster, you can see E.T.'s finger touching the finger of his human friend Elliot's, fingertip to fingertip. This creates a glow where they are touching. This idea was suggested by Steven Spielberg and was inspired by the famous Michelangelo painting The Creation of Adam. However, there has been a drastic change in the way that film posters are produced and designed in the past 20 years. Nowadays, we rarely see posters that have been made using techniques like lithography and airbrushing on one sheets. We now often see posters which feature real images of the actors that are in the film, and they are mostly always edited and created on a computer to make them look smooth and have a cleaner and often clearer look to them. This can be seen when you compare the new Star Wars posters to the old ones.
Have you seen a change in movie posters over the years? Yeah, I guess yes and no. In my lifetime, maybe the techniques have changed to create movie posters, and I think we kind of had this stage where things got a bit minimalist, and film posters would have things like Pulp Fiction did this thing where they had a character. So they advertised the film and they had different characters on the poster with a little tagline. You see that happen quite a lot now. But yeah, the technology has advanced in such a way that, you know, it's more about photography, it's more digitally enhanced and things like that. But even now, you've still got people designing posters in much the same way as they used
to what a film company can do with a film poster. No matter how creative it is, it can only function as a way to draw people's attention to a film. This could be a reason why some posters tend to repeat themselves, as there are many cliches that can come with this art form. However, repetition can often be proven effective, but it does have its limits. Film posters function more as an attention grabber or as an extra motivator when compared to a film trailer. Posters may have reached a peak, but creative artists and graphic designers are pushing the boundaries for them. These posters are not confined to just be seen at cinemas nowadays, as they are used in bus stops and billboards. Potentially, the only way forward is through technology, such as motion posters. These posters combine the elements of a trailer and a poster by making them interactive. Netflix uses this strategy in a creative way, and their posters are no longer static pictures, but rather short GIFs. Seeing characters move in a poster could really be a way to grab people's attention. It allows for potential viewers to interact with the ad. However, we need to question if these are still considered posters though.